Hey everyone, hopefully you're doing well today. It is time for another Q&A video with all of you. We have a good amount of questions to answer here today, thankfully, and some good quality ones at that. And really quick, before we do get started, I do want to give a disclaimer and mention that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure you are always doing your own research and making your own decisions. So we're going to hop right into it, and our first question asks, hey Angel, which projects are in your opinion the best under 1 Ethereum? So under 1 Ethereum, I think for me personally, it's going to be a little bit tough because under 1 Ethereum, I tend to not really look at those NFTs for the most part because they tend to be lower in quality if they are around that price. But I'll give you NFTs that are around 1 Ethereum. We first have the Adidas NFT, which I believe sits at like a 1.2, 1.3 Ethereum price. We also have Deadfellas, which sits around that price as well, which I really like as a starter profile picture / avatar NFT project that is continuously trying to build their brand. And I think the next NFT I would say would probably be a plot of land in the sandbox. Maybe that. I'm not too entirely sure, but I think I would probably pick a plot of land in the Sandbox metaverse. And the reason being is that they have been building out their metaverse for quite some time now. It's been years, and the amount of development that they have with this game and the amount of funding that they have raised for the project exceeds many other metaverses and games out there. I really trust the team behind Animoca Brands and the Sandbox, and hopefully they're able to provide a really fun experience. So those are going to be my 3, at least for right now, but like I was saying earlier, it's kind of difficult for me to identify NFT projects that are the best under 1 Ethereum. I tend to not really look for that price range because it tends to get a little bit risky. So hopefully that answered your question. And our next question asks, hi Angel, you have always advised us to make our own research when it comes to NFT projects and informed us on certain important factors to look for, such as the team, utility. However, we have never heard or got to know how you make a proper research on an NFT project or in general. Could you please provide us with a detailed video on how to make proper research on NFT projects, including an example of a project where you could use to simplify the process? Finally, few tips from your side would be highly appreciated. Best wishes, Couture, and hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly. I appreciate your question here today, and a few things I will say in regards to this. I will make an updated video on this process and how I kind of do my own research on specific NFT collections, but I will also suggest a video I have made in the past, and it's going to be this one right here. I talk about specifically everything that I look for in an NFT collection when it comes to the team, the utility, the community that is involved with it, and I give plenty of examples within this video right here. Honestly, it's probably one of the most in-depth videos I have ever created on the channel, and I think it perfectly answers this question here. Other than that, I can try to make an updated video, but I'm not too sure on what I would end up adding there. Now, in terms of the few tips that I can provide for you right now, I would say in the market conditions that we are currently experiencing, what you want to look for essentially is a team that knows what they are doing with the amount of funds they have secured from their collection. So what that means is take a look at the Doodles team or the Bored Ape Yacht Club team, Yuga Labs, and see how they are distributing their funds to create a bigger and broader brand. With the money that they have raised, have they paid out the owners or people that work for them, or are they truly trying to make a brand that stands out in the long run? That is what I would be looking for right now, and I think that is what a lot of people are paying attention to, trying to identify what the treasury is for a certain NFT collection. And that can be a little bit tricky because certain NFT projects are not going to want to reveal that. They do not want to reveal how their money is being spent, whether or not the majority of the money is going to the creators or the owners of the project, or if the majority of the money is actually being taken to grow the project. So I would just say to keep that in mind. And if you're curious on where to find this information, you can go inside of a Discord server for a specific NFT project and start asking around. Maybe ask some of the moderators or even the owners behind the project and how they are spending the money. And another tip I would say is kind of focus in on the types of developments that are being created with the money that is being spent. Like, what innovations are they doing for the project? Is it going to further actually expand the project to more people and make the brand even bigger than it is now? That is also going to be essential because what they spend the money on is going to be really important in how the project develops in the future. Even if they're spending money, that doesn't necessarily mean they're spending money on the right things. So that is what I have to say in regards to this. And once again, always make sure to do your own research and ultimately come to your own decision. And now moving on into our next question, it asks, hi Angel, I'm new here and relatively new to the NFT space. Been looking into all the material you have and I find it really informative. Thank you very much. And I'm learning a lot. I'm glad you're learning. Thanks for that. What is your take on Illuvium? I bought some land on the land sale, but I'm not sure if I'll flip flip it or keep it. So a review from you would be great to add to my decision process. Thank you. So I'll give you my opinion on what I think about Illuvium. Illuvium is a very highly anticipated NFT game that will be releasing sometime in the future. Like you just stated, they just had their land sale not too long ago, and I believe raised over $72 million. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, through that land sale. Now for the game itself, we have seen some teasers and how the gameplay will end up operating inside of Illuvium, and I think that is good to see, but ultimately the true test on whether or not this game will end up succeeding in the end is once it's fully released. Trying to make decisions on gaming NFTs can be quite difficult right now, because not only are you trying to make sure you pick up an NFT that is worth more in the long term, but you are also betting on the game in succeeding in the future. And even if it's not an NFT game, regular games and games in general take a lot, and I mean a lot, in order for them to be successful and truly have a large player base. This sector of NFTs tends to be a little bit more risky than others, and ultimately you are trying to bet on the team on whether or not they will be able to execute and actually pump out a fully fleshed playable game. I'm sure they're going to have something that is playable and in quality. With what I have seen thus far, I see that they are trying really hard in making sure that the game that they develop is really high in quality, but that won't guarantee its success. It has some good signs. There are some good things backing this project right now. They have some pretty good investors. They've raised a good amount of capital for this game right here. They seem to have a high quality development team, so hopefully they're able to pump out something good. Now for some of the very detailed mechanics about Illuvium, I am not too familiar with it, so if you were kind of looking for that kind of review, I am not going to be the person to be able to give it to you. I will probably be looking into Illuvium a little bit more once I dive myself a little bit deeper in gaming NFTs. I really like gaming NFTs, but I'm more focused on kind of metaverses like the Sandbox, Decentraland, Mirandus, and the other side. So hopefully I was able to answer your question right there, and let me know what you end up deciding in the Discord server. And moving on now to our next question, it asks, would you buy an Oddities NFT from Moonbirds or another side NFT from Yuga Labs? So this is a pretty good question. I think Oddities currently sits at a 3.4 Ethereum floor price, and then the other side, Land Deeds, currently sits at around a 2.4 to even 2.3 Ethereum floor price at the time of recording. And right now, these are both kind of secondary NFT collections in the broader NFT ecosystem of these main collections, which is Moonbirds and Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now for me personally, I don't know, this is a tough one to be honest. I would say the other side, maybe, because I think there is potential upside there if the announcement for the other side metaverse is really good and a lot of people do end up being excited. But at the same time, if that announcement or that leak of the demo is not good, right? If that first initial demo is not good, I think some of these NFTs in the other side, Land Deeds, are gonna tank. So that is kind of my issue with other deeds right now, and ultimately, like I was saying before when talking about gaming NFTs tend to be really risky. You're betting on the game's success, and in this case, even though it's Yuga Labs that is creating this game, the other side, ultimately, we just don't know if it will end up being successful. I know that goes for other profile picture and avatar NFT projects, but I think just the risk is higher for gaming NFTs. And I don't know why, but as I continue to answer this question right here, I'm almost leaning on the other side and about to say a Moonbirds Oddities NFT. I don't really know. I'm kind of at a crossroads for this answer right here. Both have perks and downfalls. For Oddities, some of the perks would certainly be that it is tied to the Moonbirds NFT ecosystem, and it's just the secondary NFT collection, right? We have Moonbirds, and then we have Oddities. I guess you can count Proof Collective as being like the top dog in that ecosystem, but at the same time, I think there is still a tremendous amount of focus on Moonbirds. I'm not exactly sure on what Oddities is going to be for this ecosystem, but at the same time, having Proof Collective and Kevin Rose on your team, I really do believe in what they are building. They're really good at execution, and hopefully with the amount of money that they have raised, they're able to create some really good experiences with these NFTs. The other thing it has going for it as well is it's created by a pretty prominent NFT artist, which is called Gremplin, or at least Gremplin did collaborate on the artwork for these NFTs, these Moonbird Oddities. So I thought that was fairly interesting as well. I'm not exactly sure on what the reveal is going to end up looking like, but hopefully it's very cool. So right now it's kind of 50-50. I don't have a complete answer for you at the moment, so my apologies there. Moving on to our next question right here, it asks, can you do more research on undervalued potential blue chip projects? And I guess the simple answer could be yes, I can do more research on undervalued potential blue chip projects. One thing I will end up saying though is that I recently made a video talking about the type of NFTs that I am looking for during this market. We are currently in a bear market where the liquidity is very low. And with that very low liquidity, the amount of money that is entering the NFT space is tending to go to these top projects and not really to these mid to low tier NFT collections. So during a bear market, I would find it even more risky to kind of go into some of these lower end NFT collections because the liquidity is just not there for them. And what I was thinking is maybe the safest NFT collections, even though the NFT space is not safe at all, would be these top NFT projects that do exist already that have a ton of credibility. Even though it's a pricier of an option, you already know that NFT collection is established and you can see that they have been building for quite some time. It's a little bit difficult, especially during this market, to kind of make bets on these newer NFT collections and some of these lower tier projects. So to quickly answer your question here, once again, yes, I can make more videos surrounding this topic right here, but that is ultimately how I'm feeling at the moment. Up next, our next question asks, I'd be interested to know what you think the correlation between the crypto and NFT bear/bull markets is. Do you think we could see another NFT bull market before we see one for crypto, which is likely years away? This is an interesting question. I like this question right here, and I think the correlation between crypto and NFTs is actually pretty important. And we have seen in the past year that the correlation between the price of Ethereum and the value of NFTs has been pretty strong. So when Ethereum tends to go down in value, at least during the year of 2022, NFTs start going down in floor price as well. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, when Ethereum starts to rise in value, NFTs tend to rise in value in terms of their Ethereum price too. So this is a pattern that can change in the long run, but right now this is what we are experiencing. And I'm not just pulling that out of my behind, by the way. There's actually data to prove that there is actually a correlation between the price of Ethereum and NFTs. I think if the price of Ethereum continues to go lower, in the very short and immediate term, you're going to see the floor prices for certain NFT projects starting to decline as well. Outside of just the NFT and cryptocurrency market, the economy right now is in somewhat shambles, right? Everything is struggling, whether it be stocks, real estate. We see inflation is high. We also see interest rates starting to increase. And I think all of this is going to affect the sentiment in buyers willing to purchase NFTs and cryptocurrency. People are not going to want to purchase risky assets. They're going to want to save money and be frugal on what they spend it on. And I'm pretty sure people are not going to want to spend money on JPEGs and digital currency when they have to pay for food and gas. When you see the economy doing well and people have money, you see that their buying behaviors are willing to pay for things that they necessarily don't really need. The stuff that they need is already supplied to them, and now they can spend their extra money elsewhere. And over the past year and a half, I think that was certainly the case with all the stimulus and money that was kind of injected to the economy here, where everyone was feeling somewhat fat. But now, since a lot of stuff is changing, inflation is high, like I said, and interest rates are going up, people are starting to get scared, and the markets have been spooked, and people are starting to be more careful in what they spend money on. And to answer your next question right here, do you think we could see another NFT bull market before we see one for crypto? I do. I think there is a possibility we could see a bull market come for NFTs before we actually get one for crypto. What would have to happen in order for that bull market to occur in the NFT space is one extremely big news event or big success story here in the world of NFTs, whether it be a game that comes out or a profile picture / avatar collection that is absolutely slaying it. I think NFTs are usually better in grabbing people's attention rather than cryptocurrency. And don't get me wrong, I think cryptocurrency can do this as well and will be relevant for years to come, but I think NFTs just do something that's able to trigger people's attention span more than anything else. So it's going to depend on what that trigger is, and hopefully we do see it come here in the next maybe 1 to 2 years or even the next few months. I am not entirely sure. I don't know how long this bear market is going to last. But once again, to answer your question, I could definitely see a bull market for NFTs coming before one for crypto. Now, I do think a bull market for crypto will always help the NFT market because you have a lot of people who have invested in crypto, making money, and ultimately are going to be more wealthier to spend money elsewhere, like in the NFT market. So that is my answer to that question right there. And now we move on to our next question, which asks, Angel, what's your 3 to 5 most undervalued projects which floor price is at the level of 1 to 1.5 Ethereum right now? Is Deadfellaz one of them? So I would say this is a pretty similar question and what was asked, I think, for the first question that we had for today's video. And the 3 projects I did end up mentioning were Deadfellaz. We have Adidas's Metaverse NFT, which I am still pretty intrigued in. And then we also have the land inside of the sandbox. Some other projects I would say that are pretty interesting around that price range, even though I don't have a ton of experience inside of their communities, would be Chimpers, and then we have Akutars. So those are going to be the 5 projects I will end up picking for right now. And with that out of the way, we continue forward, and our next question says, hi folks, I am new here. I would love to know, Angel, what is your opinion on Admit 1 and whether you think it has the same potential as Proof? So Admit 1 is an NFT collection that was released by G Money, which is a very popular influencer here in the NFT space. Now the floor price for this NFT project currently holds at 15 Ethereum, and I think what you're essentially doing when purchasing into this NFT collection is kind of betting on the connections that G Money has been able to build here in the space. Not only does he know a lot of people here in the world of Web3, but he also seems to be building a lot of connections outside of it as well. Now I like G Money. I'm a big fan of G Money. He was one of the first people I ended up following when entering the NFT space, and I think he has a lot of good opinions on what is going on in this market. Now since we are comparing it to Proof, I would hesitate to say that it has the same potential as the Proof collective. I think what Kevin Rose has built in the past and the experience he has under his belt and the team he has been able to kind of, develop for Proof Collective and Moonbirds exceeds what G Money has done with Admit 1 thus far. That doesn't mean G Money is not going to be able to do that and build something really special through Admit 1, but at the same time, I think it's too early right now to really say that it has the same potential as Proof Collective. That is just my opinion at the moment, and I'm looking to see the types of utilities and different things that are announced for the holders of this NFT collection in the future. So within the next few months, I'll be watching to see what G Money ends up announcing for this NFT collection right here, and depending on those announcements, it could change my mind to make me think it has the same potential as Proof. So hopefully you're satisfied with my answer right there. I would really like to talk to you about Admit 1 as well. I want to hear some of your thoughts and why do you think it might have the same potential as Proof. Shoot me a message on Discord or just tag me in one of the channels in the server. And then finally, moving on into our last question, we have right here, Angel, if you need to sort the below projects in order from 1 to 5, where 1 is most promising, what would be the order? We have the projects Deadfellaz, Cool Cats, Cyber Brokers, Invisible Friends, and Imposters Genesis. Alright, so this is a good one right here. Let's start off with number 5. And at number 5, I'm probably going to put Imposters Genesis, even though it has Elio Trades, which is a very known builder and creator in the NFT and cryptocurrency space, but at the same time, I'm just not too familiar on what is being built here. I know the main thing is the game behind this project, but like we were discussing earlier, when it comes to games, it tends to be much more risky than your just average profile picture / avatar project. But of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Who really knows? And at number 4, let's move on to that. I'm going to pick, this is a tough one. I'm going to pick Cyber Brokers. Cyber Brokers, even though I do like the art on this NFT collection and I like the artist and team that is behind it, I'm going to put it at number 4. Okay, we'll put that at number 4. At number 3, I'm going to put Invisible Friends, even though it was the most hyped NFT collection of all time. I think it still needs some time in order for it to develop into a fully fledged brand. And I think Marcus is going to have to add more team members to better execute for the brand moving forward. This is kind of what I'm going to say similarly to Cool Cats in just a little bit, but it's going to take more than just a fantastic artist to really truly make this a global or a national brand. And then at number 3, I'm going to put Cool Cats, and Cool Cats has definitely been one of those NFT collections I have liked for quite some time. I think the artwork behind this NFT collection is more brandable than any other art I have seen in the NFT space, and the amount of things that they can create with it is almost endless. Now, why I didn't put it at number 1 is because the execution from the team has been kind of all over the place. Of course, as many of you know, the execution with Cooltopia and the Milk Token started off on a pretty rocky shaky start. Kind of, degraded the overall trust that a lot of people had in the team. So this can be improved over time, but at the same time, that is why I put it at number 2. Now, number 1, I'm going to put Deadfellaz, even though the floor price for Deadfellaz is probably lower than Cool Cats right now. I think it's like an ETH or 2 lower than Cool Cats, but I think the execution behind Deadfellaz is really, really nice, and I think the team has been able to develop some really cool things, and they seem to constantly be building here in the NFT space. I think it's one of those brands similar to Cool Cats, and honestly, you can put Cool Cats and Deadfellaz and kind of interchange them. I think they kind of hold the same level. It's just Cool Cats is a little bit more well known here in the NFT space, but at the same time, I think in terms of execution, Deadfellaz has done an excellent job thus far. I would say Deadfellaz and Cool Cats are a little bit more in that lane of kind of building out a clothing brand or like a kid's show or something like that, rather than a game itself. I don't think that is the direction these NFT collections should go. Their events at NFT NYC were awesome. I don't know if you saw some of those experiences, but especially for Cool Cats, it was absolutely amazing. So just to wrap it up here really quick, at number 5, I got Imposters Genesis. At number 4, I got Cyber Brokers. At number 3, I got Invisible Friends. At number 2, I got Cool Cats. And then at number 1, I got Deadfellaz. I feel like I blabbed on a little bit too much right there, but hopefully you were able to get my answer pretty thoroughly. And with that, that's going to be your Q&A session here for you today. Those are all the questions, and I thought we had some really good questions here this week. And once again, I urge you every single week to continue asking those questions inside of the Discord server. I want more questions to be able to answer on these videos right here, so we can make them somewhat longer and more frequently. I appreciate everyone that asked a question here this week, and I also really appreciate all of my supporters that continue to support me and the content I'm creating on my channel. I'll catch you all in the next Q&A session that we have coming up soon, and once again, make sure to ask those questions in the Discord server. And with all that being said, I will catch you all later.